Hey guys, so today I am going to talk about the Ultraloq U-Bolt Pro Wi-Fi Smart Deadbolt. Super long name. But a lot of you have asked questions about this. You've seen it. You don't know what's up with it. What do you do in a lockout situation? Can you pick it? Um, how do you rekey it? Can you rekey it? And others have come in and said, I'm having trouble trying to rekey this thing. What am I doing wrong? So I'm going to address all of those issues here with this smart lock. So to get started here, I'm going to rekey it for you guys. And to show you, I have a factory set of pre-cut keys from Kwikset out of a Kwikset package. I'm doing that on purpose because those of you that were having issues with the pins not lining up, I'm going to show you the issue. I have my lock pick underneath that because I got to remove the tailpiece and the cap, my shim and my blank key because I don't have the original key, my key gauge so I know what the cuts are, or I could show you guys what the cuts are. My plug follower. This is a hollow follower from my HPC hollow follower set, and my SOG multi-tool. I'm just going to use the little Phillips screwdriver off of it for the tiny little screws on this thing. And if you guys are interested in any of the items you see here, I will be leaving links below as requested by you guys forever. You guys want to know where to find these locks to practice on them or work with them, or sometimes you just like the lock and you want to buy one, or you see a tool. So I'm going to start leaving links below to where you guys can find all of this. So to help you guys out. So jumping into this, one of the biggest issues you guys have had is when you go to rekey it, the pins aren't lining up correctly, or you're trying it your best, you're doing a half step up or whatever you're trying to do, and you have that clicky feeling, or just you lock it up in general, you have to shim it again. So when it comes to these overseas locks, a lot of times the pin lengths are going to vary drastically. Sometimes it's half a step down, sometimes it's a step up. Sometimes it's two steps. It's weird. This one, however, is really odd because sometimes I've gotten to these where they're, three steps up, and other times they are four steps up. So we're going to go ahead and take this one apart and see what's up with this one. And I want to show you guys a weird feature that Ultraloq has implemented on the core of this lock. So starting out, you have your face of your lock here, and it has this thumbprint. It looks like where the keyway would go, but that's for your fingerprint feature. And it also kind of hides and disguises the keyway well, because a lot of people look at this and they just think that's the lock, and they're just gonna look past it. But if you just pull the face down, it reveals the keyway. And if you look there, that is a Kwikset keyway, or KW1 keyway. And then we're going to flip it around to the back, and we have just this plastic plate here. We're going to remove this top screw right here, and I'll just back that out here with my SOG tool. I've grown to like this little tool. I've carried it around for the better part of the year so far, and it's actually done well for me. It's not so bulky like some of the bigger tools, and it fits. It's light and it's easy to carry. So we're going to remove this plate here, and this little wire. We're going to move him out of the way. So we're going to remove this plate, and this plate is just plastic. So we're just going to set that aside, and then we're left with this here. So what we're going to do now is remove these two screws here, holding this little bracket. So we're going to loosen up the left screw. They're really small screws, so it's not too bad. Similar to like a mortise cylinder for the cam screws. That's about how big they are. So they're almost the exact same type of screw, actually, like looking at it. But we're going to go ahead and loosen these up, and that should be just loose enough. Now this thing is these parts are so small. So what I'm going to do actually is be smart here and just lift the core. Aha. Using our brain here. And we'll go ahead and just set this to the side. And now we have our core out. We'll go ahead and set our tool down out of the way. And now we are going to remove the cap and the tail piece here. So what we're going to do, if you haven't done one of these, is we are going to press down on this pin and twist the cap. So we're going to press down on this pin here, and we're going to unscrew our cap, just like that. Set that aside, and bumping my camera here. And then we're going to remove this pin. That's the pin that we were pressing down on. We're going to just set him aside, and there should be a spring in here. There it is, right there. Now I don't have a key, so I am going to shim this one. This is a big shim here. I don't really like the big shims. I like the little ones. I don't know why I bought the big shim. I think I meant to buy the shims I normally get, and I accidentally ordered these big ones here. They're just so bulky, like, I don't know. And then that happens a lot where you see me kind of bending it. If you haven't shimmed a lock before, this is pretty much the process here. I hate these bulky shims. Let's see. That one's there. And then, oh, it's already turned over. Haha. Man, that thing is, it's just like, it's like a thicker shim. In this case, I have better ones. Let me actually, this is a side quest here. Let me open this up here and find one of these smaller ones to show you guys. This is just kind of a mix of them. But, so this is the one that I normally use right there. This was the giant one. I don't know who makes that, but trash. The little ones are so much better. They're just thinner and they're easier. They're shorter, so you don't really have that issue where you're bending the shim like I was. So I like the little ones. That is from this lab kit here, and again, I'll leave a link if you guys want to pick up the good ones. And so we're going to take our follower, and we are going to push out the core and set that aside. And these are all going to be standard pin, whatever factory they were made in. So those don't really matter, those in. So what we're going to do, and I'll show you guys the cuts of this one. It should be, looking at that, what is that? It's going to be 26424? 26? I don't know. Let's test it. We have our tool. 26424. Yeah, 26424. Okay, apologies for that. I was having some technical issues with the microphone. I didn't realize I'm using a new microphone, and I forgot to adjust the settings. It's a different style than my old one. So I apologize for the robot sound in the first half of this video, but hopefully that clears up now. So now we've got the core out of our chamber here. So let's go ahead and rekey this. Now the cuts of this key are 26424. So if you want to see it there. And what we're looking for is, if we try to key this up straight across 26424 with our 3000s kit, we're going to be off either too high or too low. That's the thing about Ultraloq. It's either too high or too low. I don't know why. These overseas locks are kind of odd. But just to give you a little insight, though, something that you will have to learn, the third chamber on the Ultraloq, the stock core that comes with the Ultraloq, isn't drilled all the way through. So if we take two of the same pins here, let me just set these down so you can see. Those are the same size. So we'll put one here in the, let's go in the second chamber, and then one in the third chamber. And you will see that in the second chamber, it's fallen down, but that third chamber, it stays above the shear line. That's a feature Ultraloq has to prevent bumping using bump keys we've talked about on the channel. So that is actually, it's kind of crazy to see a lock like this one have that kind of technology and not any of the bigger locks that we're all used to. It seems like a cool feature and really doesn't cost anything extra to do. So, I mean, props to Ultraloq there. But where the issue is going to come in, and this key is, the cuts on this key are 26424, and this is a quickset factory key. The problem is when you try to rekey these, they don't always line up perfectly. So to give you an example here, the first cut should be a 2, which is a 195. So we'll go ahead and grab that. We'll put the 195 in, and it's going to, when you have the key sit just right, it's going to sit just above the shear line. So with this lock, you sometimes have to go 2 or 3 steps down. So instead of a 195, we're going to go with a 189, and we're going to pop him in there. And as we can see, he looks pretty flush. So the next one is going to be a 6, which is a 288, but we're going to go 2 down. So we're going to go from 288, we're going to use a 282. So we'll go ahead and slide the 282 and flush. Weird, right? So then the weird one is going to be, this is going to be a 4, which is a 240, but we're going to go, because of that weird milling, instead of 2, we're going to go 3 down. We're going to go with a 231. So it's supposed to be a 240, so we're going to go 3 down, and it sits flush. Weird. The next one was a 2, which is a 195, so we're going to go with a 189 again. See how that turns out. Now, these last 2 can be kind of weird too, so let's see what happens. We may have to go further down. Yep, so if we look, it's always these last 2, like the last 3 are always weird. But I want to show you guys, if you can see that, it is, let me see if I can get a black background here for you. But it's sticking up, so that one's not going to do. So 189 is not. So we're going to go with a 183, which is way down. So we're going 4 steps down. And we'll see how that goes. And we have it here. So our last cut is a 4 as well. This one, again, so that was the 2, so we're going with a 4. So that was going to be a 240. So you would think we would just redo that with what we use 231, I think. But this time we're going to go all the way down to a 222 because these get shallower and shallower. So 222 is actually too tall still. So that's kind of crazy. So 222 doesn't go. Let's go with a 207. Let's go way down. So 207 is right on the money. So these are all of your cuts, which is insane. So let's go ahead and slide this back into the housing here. No clicks, no issues. Oh, actually, ooh, there is a little bit of a click there. Feels like, let's see. Maybe it was just the way I was holding it there. So let's go ahead and pull the key out, try it again. Yeah, I was pulling back on the core a little bit. So that is your cuts. So I went ahead and, I tested this. I was trying to record this and then the audio was weird. So these are your pins here that I've laid out. But I did not realize I went so far down for that last cut. So to give you an idea here on this pinning situation, our first cut was a 195, but we had to go to a 189. Let me raise this just a bit. So we were supposed to be at a 195. We went to a 189. Our second cut was a 6, which is supposed to be a 288, but we went down to a 282 to make it flush. Our third cut was a 4, which is supposed to be a 240, but we went to a 231. And then those last two chambers get even more shallow. So we went from a 2, which is supposed to be a 195, all the way down 4 steps to a 183. And then our last cut was a 4, which should have been a 240, but we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 steps down for that final cut. I have no idea why it has to be like that. It's something in their system, that anti-bump feature. I feel like that's part of it. I feel like, oh, I forgot the spring. But I feel like it's part of it with the whatever they were trying to do with that anti-bump technology. I feel like it just threw off the pin sizes. So it's just one of those wonky things you got to do as a locksmith. So if you end up getting to one of these and you are trying to key it up and it's just not working out, just keep, stepping down or stepping up, whichever way. I've actually gotten to these where it has been the opposite, where it's a half step up instead of down. So it's just weird. I don't know. The mass production, I guess, is part of it. That weird anti-bump thing that they want to do, that's also part of it. We got to go a little bit more. So let me push him down. These are a little bit corroded, so it's weird to try to press on that. Let's try that. Nope, a little bit more. The cylinder is just corroded. This lock is actually broken, so that's why I'm not really trying to do anything else with it. It's I removed it from a door because the sun just killed this lock. So unfortunately, is what it is. But to put this all back together, we're just going to drop that core right back in there. We're going to grab our little bracket with our 2 screws still in there. Set it right over top. And if we can line it up right, let's see. And then zoom back down here. There we go. And then we're going to just tighten down our screws. So you're going to tighten this one down. And then before you get too tight on that one, you're going to go with this side. And we'll tighten him down. And then we'll go back to this side. And then back to this side. You don't have to go crazy. There's little screws. And then what we're going to do for our final piece is we are going to take our back plate, fish him over the wire and down. Before we go too far down, we're going to feed him. So this little wire has to go inside of this little notch here. We're going to slide him down and in. I don't like how that pinches on the wire, but it's the design. And then we're going to take our little screw, put him back in the top there, and just tighten him down. And then just like that, we have our lock reassembled. We use our key, opens, and if this lock worked, it would be a good lock. But this lock has a malfunction. The sun, it was just sitting in direct sunlight, and the sun just baked it to where some of these just no longer work. They've been It's also on a B&B, so it's a mix of the sun and that, but it's cooked. It looks good in here, but when you take it outside, you get to see how like just cooked this thing is. But that is how you rekey a Ultraloq U-Bolt Pro Wi-Fi Smart Deadbolt, the longest name ever for a lock. They are cool little locks. I wouldn't put them in direct sunlight. I would put a little shield over it or something, just because I do see this a lot and I see the sun have an effect on these, but also the high traffic. This is around $100 lock. So it's not the highest end, the highest, most durable lock you're going to find, but it is something that if you wanted to use it on a short-term rental or even, your residence, it's not a bad idea. It's just you want to keep it out of direct sunlight. I live in a desert community, so if you live in like Arizona or Southern California or Nevada, try to have something shielded. They do build little shields. You can buy them. They make them for rings and smart locks, just to keep the sun directly off it. It's just your batteries are going to corrode quicker and gas out, but it's also going to just have a field day on the board of this thing. So as a heads up, but hopefully this video helped you guys and gives you guys some of the answers you were looking for. As you can see, even I was kind of struggling on this one. So if you guys have any more questions on this lock, I would show you a programming video, but this one's broken. So can't really do that. But thank you guys for watching. If you like learning about locks or lock picking or programming, installing DIY style videos, feel free to subscribe. It helps the algorithm and the channel tremendously. Thank you guys. All of you guys. It's crazy how far I've come on this channel. I couldn't have done it without all of you guys helping support it. So again, thank you guys. It means everything to me that you guys really are interested in locks. And I will catch you guys in the next video.